everyone. This is Kat from Millennials in Motion magazine, and this is our 9th episode of Conversations with the Community. And today I am sitting down with Rosemary of the Lots of Love Club. How are you doing today, Rosemary?
I'm doing beautiful. How are you?
Fantastic. Thank you for sitting down with me.
Thank you for having me and for joining me on this beautiful Saturday. I've lost track of days.
It is Small Business Saturday, actually.
It is, yeah. A couple of my friends are at Market in the Alley and at Good Wolf right now, so I hope to check them out after in the afternoon.
That's where I'm supposed to go later, and then maybe on a hike.
Cool.
So share a little bit about yourself and what got you into wanting to share love and positivity and everything.
It's a really long story, but if I could sum it up, I went through a lot of dark times in terms of like loving myself and loving others and just finding that overall connection with myself. I've gone through depression. I fought with my family a lot. I went through a lot of like relationships and breakups. But I always wondered if there was something more. Like, I never understood why I would like always fight with my family or like gone through all those relationships and the breakups. And I'm like, why never it lasted? But I had to go through those dark times to, heal and learn and grow from them. And that's essentially what helped stem Lots of Love Club. And in terms of like sharing love and positivity, that's one aspect of it. But overall, our mission statement is to connect souls who are consciously expanding their consciousness of love. Oh my gosh, I like butchered my own mission statement. But yeah, the whole idea of Lots of Love Club is to connect people because connection is such a big part of it. And not only sharing the love, but being more conscious and expanding upon it because most of us have grown up with the programming and expectations of what love is, like from the media and from what our parents taught us.
We think it's romantic, basically.
Mm-hmm, yeah, but what I've learned through like all the experiences that I've gone through with like my family and my romantic relationships and my friends and just like with myself, I've learned that what most of us have learned about love isn't what like true unconditional love is. I mean, most of us have, I'm not trying to generalize for everyone, but for me personally, I would always talk and hear about unconditional love, but I felt like I never really understood what that was until I really dig deep into myself, because I learned that the love for self is the most important love that you should focus on first, because I've also heard growing up, oh, you got to love yourself before you love somebody else. And so that was a really big eye-opener for when I finally did experience it. And so it's awesome to now understand and experience like unconditional love towards my family, even though we did fight a lot. And I mean, we still do have our quarrels today, but now that I'm more conscious of it, I'm working towards it. And so that's the whole idea with Lots of Love Club. It's tried to sum up in like 5 minutes.
No, that's beautiful. How would you personally define what love is now that you have a better understanding of it?
So I've, through my experience, have learned that unconditional love is loving yourself first, as I said. But by doing that, you must be like a whole being and be balanced within yourself. And it's really just accepting all the parts of you, like negative and positive, because we live in a world of duality. But essentially, we're all one. And, it might sound a little woo-woo, but ideally, like, because we're all one, if you're not the whole yourself, then it's hard to spread that whole love to another. Because basically, when I was going through all my dark times, I look back now and I realized that I wasn't like truly in my power as being my whole being, because I was depressed, I was anxious, I was fearful, and that's all stemmed from not being in the present and not being okay with myself. And so I learned that because I wasn't present or I wasn't okay with myself, now I'm aware of that, and now I taking that steps to like return back to that whole self. Because essentially, there's this one time I did an intuitive soul guidance session for my friend, and she said, "Oh, I'm like doing things I never thought that I would do," and because she's like on her journey of healing herself and loving herself, but she's like, "Yeah, it's like I'm moving to a different person." And I was like, no, it's because you're going back to who you really were. And so with all the programming that we've learned, it's that just removing those layers of, it's like an onion, just like slowly removing those old programmings and traumas to be that unconditionally loving being and soul that you really are deep down inside. And so I feel like I didn't answer your question of like what love is, but love is essentially an expansion of ourself. And it's never ending, it's infinite. And when most of us have these expectations of love, I've learned that that isn't love, because unconditional love has no conditions and has no expectations.
Yeah, I think that's a really good answer.
Yeah.
And I feel that like part of what you're getting at is that once you like are able to like understand that expansion of love of yourself, it's then able to expand into others. Because once you understand, you know, that like you said, we all have faults, you know, we have our good and our bad. So when you have that understanding of yourself, you're then able to accept others as they are and know that, you know, just like you, they have their good and their bad. And we can either choose to accept them for that and be there as they grow, you know, if they're willing to address those things, you know, or otherwise.
Yeah, and then we're all on our own journey. Like, and then we all have our own understandings and definitions of love, but it's all up to you as a person to want to be open to, you know, take that next level and expand more in your consciousness of love, rather than just taking it for what it is and not moving forward with it, because we're always learning something new every day. And I was always somebody who loves like so many different things, and that's another reason why I have like I'm trying not to do everything for Lots of Love Club. Like, I know you want to talk about my playlists and all the stuff that I want to do, but I've learned through this journey of like being the founder of Lots of Love Club that I can't do everything myself and I can't do everything. So I gotta like focus on the overall encompassing mission of what it means. And so there's a lot.
That's really cool. It's like, because you know, I'm a multi-passionate person too, and through coming to that realization with myself of having that like word for that feeling, you know, your passion equates to love. So when you are into the environment or people or animals and you're doing stuff for them, that's you exhibiting love to those things that you care about, you know, that you're passionate about. You know, same thing like, you know, with your art or music or anything that you put your energy into, that's you giving your love to it. So,
and it also breaks down to creativity. What I learned this year from, you know, starting Lots of Love Club is that owning a business and having a business is in itself a creative form of like loving and just showing that passion. And so over the past like 3 years, I would tell myself, oh yeah, I'm not like, I want to be a small business owner, that's not me, or like I'm not an entrepreneur, but that's what I was feeding myself. And so that's what my body would believe, like my mind would believe. And so that's another aspect of love that I learned, of like being more conscious about what I tell myself, because if you're telling yourself stuff that's not loving, then that feeds the more not loving self that you are.
Right. It's like if you're telling yourself, oh, I can't do that, or I could never see myself doing that, well then yeah, you're not going to do it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what anybody else says. If you're telling yourself no, you're not going to do it. No one's going to make you do it.
Yep. It's all just going back to the inner work and being more conscious of it. Yeah.
So we kind of touched on what Lots of Love Club, but for those who otherwise have never heard of the club and don't know what it is from outside of what we've lightly touched on, what is Lots of Love Club? How did it come about?
So Lots of Love Club is a community-driven, education-based platform worldwide. I have to tell myself worldwide because that's what I'm manifesting. And so my original idea is to have workshops, constant workshops, so that people can come and learn and expand and learn different perspectives to help them grow and essentially do the inner work. And so another part of it is the healing aspect of it, which I really want to implement soon, because now that I have the ability to do energy, I mean, we all have the ability to do energy work, but since I'm doing energy work and then my partner is a energy healer as well, then definitely want to, when I get my Lots of Love Club building in 2020, then also bring that aspect of where people can go and have a safe space and have a non-judgmental environment where they can work on themselves and not have to worry about anyone else. I don't know, who aren't as open to this woo-woo stuff. But yeah, there's a element to the mind, body, and soul to it, because balance is really big as well. And so the 3 pillars that I focus on are love for self, love for others, and love for the environment. And so there's also going to be a blog that we're launching in 2020, and there's also we already have events, and so the workshop and the blog are the 2 main focuses that I'll be launching in 2020.
Awesome.
Yeah. I always feel like I don't answer questions straight, but
I think you handled it pretty well. I mean, how did the club get started? Like, what initially, like, you're just like, I'm going to do this.
Mm-hmm. So one of my really good friends, Michelle, she has a Facebook group called like Las Vegas Vegans and Crystal Group. And so it was cool because there's a community there, and she has monthly events too, and so I would go to them often. And so I was like, oh, I should start a Facebook group too. We're just like people who, you know, want to connect and love themselves. And so I created a Facebook group. Originally it was called like Journey to Lots of Love or something, but then I was like, this doesn't sound that cool. And my friend Gabe, who I asked to be an admin for it, he has a Facebook group called Dope Shot Club, because he's a videographer too. And so I was like, oh, what if I just name it Lots of Love Club? That rings, you know, off the tongue better. And literally that's how I started as a Facebook group. But I was really bummed out because it wasn't as active as I wanted it to be. Like when I had those reset hikes on my Facebook group, there were like 1 or 2 people that would show up. And so I realized that the Facebook group isn't something that was scalable and able to reach more of a bigger audience. And so I just decided, hey, I'm gonna make this my business. But then from there, I realized that it's not more so of a business, because I was so focused on somehow making money off of it, but that's not the whole point of it. The whole point is to connect and to spread love and expand love. And so that was kind of like an eye-opener for me. But I had a breakdown in September, and I was like, oh, I feel like I'm doing this by myself, and like nobody understands me. Going through, you know, that crisis.
I can relate
and
very
so,
well to that.
Oh yeah. I mean, hey, it's a never-ending journey to like go through these up and downs. But yeah, I posted about my crisis on Facebook, and that's when my good friend from Detroit reached out. He's like, I can help you. I used to do startup consulting. And I was like, what? I didn't know that about you. So he's been helping me like through the journey of having Lots of Love Club be just bigger than me. And so I also learned that I can't do everything myself. So I actually reached out to see if anyone would want to volunteer with us. So now we're an amazing community of 12. And we're all, you know, working together to make Lots of Love Club something for the community and for something that people can go to so that they can learn more and connect with others who are also doing the work.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I love the dedication.
Yeah. Yeah, it was actually very it was very, well, I can't think of the word, but all the people who did volunteer, I was really surprised, because some people I had never even met. Like, they found me on Instagram and they just really wanted to put that energy to helping me, and I was so humbled, and I'm like, thank you for reaching out. So yeah, I mean, it's been a process. Like, this is the first time I've ever, you know, delegated to a team or something, so every day is a learning process.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You just move on from there and grow from it.
Yeah.
When did you guys officially launch?
Well, technically, we didn't really officially launch or like have a launching date, but
What was your soft launch?
I mean, I got my business license on 7-Eleven.
Did you get a free Slurpee that day?
No, I didn't. I went to the law office instead, no, or the business office instead. But yeah, I mean, I will have like a guess a grand opening launch sometime in 2020 when I do get my building, because I do want to have physical space for everyone to get together. And so yeah, technically no soft opening, but we've been doing events, so that's all that matters to me right now. It's just getting people together.
Right, that's how you start, building your base and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So we touched on what the mission is. What right now are your goals and the vision of the club?
So right now, in the next 4 months, we're like I said, we're working on the blog. So me and the team are actually having a blog party in December, so we can all just like write stuff together. And like I said, it's either love for others. I mean, love for self, love for others, or love for the environment. So they're going to be like zero waste tips, or like ways to. You're like smiling. You're like, yay!
I can donate some content to you.
Oh my God, I would love that. Thank you. Yeah, we're definitely addressing all sorts of ways to just be more mindful with yourself and with the environment. And so that's a big thing. So we'll be launching blog posts throughout the first quarter of 2020. And we actually just set the dates for the first 5 workshops for the first quarter. And so my goal is to have 2 workshops every month on every first and third Sunday. And it'll be at the Noise Project in Ferguson's. Ooh. And so I'm excited for that. I love Amber. She's the owner. And yeah, the first workshop is supposed to be on January 5th. And the title of the workshop is not solidified yet, but it'll be along the lines of being more intentional of the healing journey in 2020, because it doesn't happen overnight. So something along those lines.
That sounds super exciting.
Yay.
I'm going to try and make it.
Oh, yay. Thanks. But yep, those are the 2 major goals. And then, like I said, having my building, that's another goal that's just out there whenever it wants to come down.
So you don't have like a set idea of when you'd be acquiring a building yet?
No, I'm not, like, no expectations, because, that's not love. Right. But I am, I have a building, like, in my mind that's literally down the street from me. Mm-hmm. But no expectations. Yeah.
So I know you hit on how the focus of the organization is not money. How do you generate revenue to cover the cost of managing it, though? Because that still is a thing, unfortunately.
The first thing that did on my website was actually open up an online shop that was print on demand. So we do have, like You Are Beautiful Soul shirts, and then I have an affirmation series for like one for every chakra. And so, and they're all eco-friendly and environmentally friendly. Ooh, dope, your tattoo. But yeah, that was like the first step of Lots of Love Club, but I guess I kind of brushed over it because that's not my focus anymore. Because like I said, the focus is the workshops and the events and bringing people together. But if you want to check out our shop, it's on lotsofloveclub.com. Yeah, so I haven't been working since March. I quit my startup job in March. This episode is recorded in November. But I have done a couple like off gigs as a production assistant, since that's the only thing I really want to do in terms of like the film industry anymore. But today, actually, I will be launching my personal website as an energy worker and intuitive soul guide. So that's how I'm going to be making revenue for Lots of Love Club. But like I said, since we have volunteers, like initially when I started, I really wanted to pay people, obviously, for their time. But then I realized, like, okay, well, I don't have the money, but I'm pretty sure there are people out there who are willing to, have that experience and just surround themselves with other like-minded people. And so, like I said, I'm like super humbled that so many volunteered and are willing to put their time and energy, because there is no monetary compensation, but in terms of energetic compensation, I feel like I do my best, or try my best to have that two-way exchange. And so yeah, they'll be able to go to like workshops for free, and I offer like energy healing sessions for them once a month. And it just, I find ways to do an energetic exchange, because essentially money is also energy. And so I've learned that to have a better relationship with money, to not stress about it, and it'll come as long as you're doing what you love to do and what your passion is.
I've felt the same way. The universe has an interesting way of giving me money when you need it the most. You know, for me, coincidentally, it's been the universe has people run into my car.
Oh no! Aww.
My car, I've been in 4 car accidents from other people who just came out of the blue and.
But then you got money for it?
Yeah, because because they give you money to fix the car, and if it the amount of money that they give you is more than what it costs to fix it, or if you get your medical compensation and everything, that helps out a little bit.
I'm glad you're okay. After 4 accidents. It seems like you're okay.
My back is messed up, so that's also like something that I need to start taking care of myself, because I know I have back problems. So it's like I need to really start getting into yoga and stretching and taking better care of myself, because I'm 25 now. I really need to. You're at that point in your life where if you don't start taking care of yourself now, you're going to set yourself up for some, not failure per se, because I think anybody at any stage in their life, if they have the willingness to do it, they can take back their health. But it does get increasingly more difficult the older you get, especially if you have been spending so much time not taking care of yourself. It's like I go hiking and everything, but like I used to go to the gym like every day. I used to work out, so that's part of my personal journey of trying to make sure I'm giving myself love, because part of that is taking care of yourself and taking care of your body. So
definitely this year has been something, because I feel like I've learned a lot from my mind and from my heart, but my body is like something I really stressed this year in terms of like what I eat and like forms of being active, because I don't go to the gym. But I also hike, and like we went hiking last week, so that was super fun. That was so fun, and I'm glad that everyone was down to do like the full hike, because everyone kept saying it was really pretty.
Yay! But oh gosh, I'm horrible with names, but the one girl, she was just like, "Oh my god, thank you so much for showing this spot," and I was just like, "What? Oh, you're
like, oh."
Thank you. I was, because it was just right off to the side. Like I figured, like if I didn't say anything, we would.
And then we saw a deer.
That was so cool.
That was super cool.
We were just walking down the path, minding its own business.
Yeah,
that was a nice little blessing.
Oh, it was. I've never seen a deer in Red Rock, which is crazy.
I've gone out there and I've seen plenty of burro, and
I've seen a couple burros. Yeah,
those are pretty normal. Yeah, standard to see out there. Especially since, unfortunately, we get a lot of people, especially people from out of state, who are like, "Oh my god, look how docile they are. Let's go up and try to feed them."
I'm like, "Oh my gosh, like,
no. Please don't feed them." Yeah.
But our next hike actually is on December 28th. Our monthly reset hike is always on the last Saturday of every month.
Okay.
So,
that was going to be my next question.
Yeah. So the next one is December 28th, and we're hiking Lone Mountain for the sunset.
Ooh.
And so when we get to the top, it's also day 2 of the moon phase, so it's still relatively like new moon. So we'll be doing like our new moon intentions while we're on the mountain, and then burning them into the universe.
Oh,
yeah,
fantastic! Yeah. I haven't been on that mountain since I was very, very little.
Aw, I love that mountain. I haven't gone this year, but it's always a beautiful view of the Strip, or just like Las Vegas in general.
Right.
Yeah. The intention with our hikes is to like when you go out to nature, to ground yourself, because sometimes when we are caught up in like our thoughts and our like anxieties, that we're not being grounded essentially. And so that's why I really love doing these hikes, so that we can really set the intention to have like a grounding next month. So yeah, that's why it's every last Saturday. I don't know if you'll be in town, because I know it's crazy.
I don't plan to be going out of town. From working in retail the last 7 years, like December was always like, I'm not going anywhere.
You're like, I'm working.
Yeah. So, but now that I'm like super part-time, I otherwise can go, but my partner, he's a store manager. So
you can't be like, peace.
Yeah, hard to get away, but And then I don't know if I mentioned when we were on the hike, we're for the second year in a row we're doing this thing we call Day of Friends.
I don't think you mentioned it. You're cool. Like, oh, I'll talk about it right now.
So we're trying to be less materialistic. You know, we don't need things, and you know, I gather that a lot of other people like getting a gift is nice, but a lot of the times, you know, it probably sits on a shelf somewhere, or you know, it never gets used.
Yeah.
So what we've been doing instead is, instead of buying gifts for people, we do this Day of Friends where we have a whole day set aside where, you know, we invite our friends and loved ones over to just spend the day with us. We're gonna make food all day.
Beautiful.
We're gonna play games.
I love that.
Yeah. So we just enjoy each other's company, and you know, essentially like, you know, show our appreciation for each other, and you know, show our love for each other by being in each other's presence and enjoying that company with each other. Yeah. You know, because as I've grown older, like, time is such an important asset that a lot of people don't realize that it is as such.
They take it for granted.
Exactly. Yeah. And I've, you know, more and more come to the realization that, you know, like, time is very important, and I want to make sure that, you know, if I'm giving my time away, it's to people that matter, and it's to things that matter. You know, I don't want to be expending my energy on things that I'm going to be like, I wasted my time.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how that manifested into, you know, what it is. So
yeah, no, I love that. Yeah, because whenever I would receive gifts, or like I have a thought of giving a gift, whenever I want to give a gift, I definitely want it to be practical and useful, because I wouldn't want it to just sit on a shelf.
Right.
But I mean, that's just me. Because I definitely am all about practicality and usefulness, and not just for the sake of giving, if that makes sense. And so, yeah, it's another thing to be mindful of. If you're somebody who just gives for the sake of giving, what is your intention behind it?
I've, you know, been telling people this year when they're just like, what do you want for Christmas? I'm just like, please don't buy me anything.
Yeah, same.
If you really, really want to, you know, do something for me for Christmas, plant a tree for me, or better yet, on my behalf, buy yourself a zero waste product, buy yourself a water bottle, buy yourself a Brita pitcher, whatever, you know, whatever you were going to spend money on to get for me, take that money and buy. Yeah, because otherwise, like, if I had a lot of money and I wanted to get gifts for people still, I would buy a bunch of zero waste products and be like, here, what do you need? You know, that way, you know, you're doing something for yourself and for the planet. And, you know, I'm not just giving out something that's going to sit on a shelf, you know, hopefully. You know, I'm hoping that if I get you this water bottle, or get you these straws, or whatever, that you're going to use them, you know, and then that'll help you on your own journey to going zero waste.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. My trash is something that I'm more mindful of ever since I moved into my apartment. I moved in here in like June. And so I try, my goal is to throw like my big like kitchen trash bag once every 3 to 4 weeks. Because, and then I also try to compost. But I just found out the place that I always go compost doesn't take compost anymore. So I need to like figure out. I have like 2 tubs of compost in my freezer right now.
One of the organizations I'm partnered with out here is called Viva La Compost.
Oh, I've heard of them.
Yeah. She's amazing. The woman who owns the business, her name is Veronica, and she has a, you know, either a bi-weekly or a weekly pickup. And you get a bucket, and she'll pick up the compost. She takes it to a facility where it gets composted. Cool. And they turn it into soil. She will, you know, give you some soil back after, you know,
all that compost. Yeah,
exactly. So you're getting a little bit of the product that you made back. You can, you know, pass it on to someone else who needs it if you don't have any place to. Yeah,
I don't have a garden in here, but one day I do. Or one day I want to. But yeah, I've heard of her, and I definitely want to research more. I just found out that they don't take compost anymore, so that's why I'm kind of just sitting and don't know what to do with it yet. But yeah, I definitely have to look into that. Viva La Compost. Yeah. Sweet. Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
But definitely something I'm mindful of, and because before my trash would stink, and I was like, I need to not throw these beautiful like remaining vegetables in my in my trash can. So another thing that I've learned this year, because I just started doing it probably like 2 or 3 months ago.
So I think we kind of touched on the kind of values that the club promotes. Was there any other values that you wanted to touch on?
I mean, we have 11 core values.
Okay, yeah.
They're totally not off the top of my head right now.
Yeah, please
but
read them off.
Pull it up real quick. They're on my website landing page, and so anyone can see these core values. Of course, it's not loading because that's how life is. All right, so our core values, we have 11 because 11 is such an important master number to me.
Oh, really?
And so our core values are as follows. Practice self-love and loving yourself unconditionally. Follow your intuition and stay balanced. Practice gratitude daily. Release expectations of self and others. Connect authentically by honoring your feelings. Provide transparent and honest communication. Be open to new experiences. Embrace vulnerability and change. Move forward with positive intention and action. Consciously expand your mind, body, and soul. And last but not least, be present. So those are all of our core values. I don't know if I should narrow it down to like something not as lengthy, but
no, I think that's good.
It took me a while to come up with those, but when it came to these core values, I realized that they have to be core values that I'm implementing myself.
Right.
Yeah.
But you have to implement it with yourself so that others are willing to implement it in themselves. Because like, if the person telling them to do something or trying to get them to do something isn't doing it themselves, they're going to be like, well, why are you like I'm always talking with people about like, say, like the plastic crisis. If I wasn't so personally invested into going zero waste myself, if I was telling people like, you need to stop using plastic as I drink a plastic water bottle instead of a tumbler, they'd be like, why should I listen to you? So it's absolutely important to be exhibiting those values yourself if you're hoping to have others exhibit it in themselves.
And that was a lesson I learned from the shop. There's a lot of lessons this year because I wanted to create lots of Love Club tote bags because of like, obviously I'm all about reusable bags, but I was like, I can't see myself using these reusable bags because I personally use Bagoo, which is like, they're foldable bags, and so they're much more compact. So I'm like, well, in a blog, I should probably just talk about why I use these and why I love using these, rather than creating a product that I wouldn't really use myself. And so, just a random lesson I learned of like, practice what you preach, essentially. Yeah.
That's understandable. Do you want to expand more on like the events and workshops and things that you guys do? Or like talk about you talked about that event you have on January 5th. What other events do you have in the first quarter of next year?
So the first 5 workshops is the first one's on January 5th, and in February they're the first and third Sundays, and then in March they're the second and fourth Sundays, and they're all at the Noise Project. But those topics aren't like for sure solidified because I don't even have the first topic solidified. But I'd really love to talk about like how protecting your heart is preventing you from love. I'd want to talk about like celebrating heartbreak and like shifting the perspectives of going through heartbreak. And what are other topics I want to talk about? And I also want to do, other than like the perspective shift workshops, I want to do like healing ceremonies as well. And we have a wellness party every month, every second Sunday. Yeah, so one of our team members, Stephanie, she's a licensed cosmetologist. I always say that word wrong. I don't know why. I want to say cosmopolitan, but cosmetologist. And so she does like mini facials and like microdermabrasion and cupping, and so we have that every second Sunday, and we're most likely changing the fee for like a $5 door fee, and then from whoever you get a service from, like you can donate from there because it used to be donation based only. And then for the workshops, there is going to be a fee for the workshops. But eventually I do want to create like what you were talking about too, like a subscription based like workshops monthly fee, so people can attend those 2 workshops for free every month if you pay a certain amount. So yeah, that's pretty much what's happening in the first quarter.
How can people join the events and the workshops and things?
So all the events will be and workshops will be on the website, lotsofloveclub.com, and then you can RSVP on there. In terms of buying like a ticket to the workshop, it'll also be on the website. It'll probably just link to like Eventbrite or something. Still figuring out the logistics. But I haven't put the website for the RSVP for the hike yet, but I will today.
No, I saw your thing on Instagram for the hike, and then that's when I made my way to the website to RSVP.
Yay! Well,
So.
thank you for RSVPing and for coming. I know I keep saying it like 5 times in this, but
No,
I mean, hey, gotta practice gratitude daily. That's like one of our core values.
No, thank you for doing the hike and everything. I was just like, oh,
I'm glad you met like all my friends.
No, I had a great time.
Yeah,
it was
that's
awesome
good.
talking to everybody.
Yeah, it was like, I hope it wasn't overwhelming, because I didn't think there were like gonna be 10 people showing up. Because like I said, my first few hikes, there were only like 1 or 2 people. But I feel like ever since I started the volunteer team, like more people have been coming. And I've learned that if I don't ask, then I won't receive. So I just gotta ask.
The answer is always no unless you ask. That's something that like my mom has always, said to me growing up. So like whenever I'm at odds with myself about doing something, I'm just like, if you don't do this, then of course, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, it's going to be no.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So the only one is, the saying no inherently is yourself, unless you're getting yourself to do the thing.
Yay. But yeah, I will be, I don't know when this episode's going to release, but I should have all the event details for December and for January within the next couple of weeks. Or like mid-December, Just got to take it one step at a time.
Absolutely. So what are some other ways that people can get involved in the club besides, coming to the events or, coming on your website and absorbing your content? Are you looking for more volunteers? Are you looking for people to do certain aspects that you need help with or anything like that?
So as of right now, I'm not looking for more volunteers because I'm already learning how to like handle 11, but I do want to open it up more in 2020 once I finally get the flow going of like how I can delegate tasks and communicate with everyone effectively. Other ways that you can support, you can follow us on social media. We're on Instagram, Facebook, and I want to, that's another thing I want to get started in 2020, our YouTube channel, because I really want to do guided meditations and affirmations as a free resource for people to use whenever they want to. And so I do not have the YouTube URL of Lots of Love Club yet because I need 100 subscribers. So if you guys want to subscribe to us and help me get my YouTube URL.
Wait, they didn't give you a URL?
No, you have to have 100 subscribers on YouTube before you can change your URL. Otherwise, your URL is like 365AB7.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So
I didn't even like notice that.
Yeah, it's like a small thing, but I think there's like 60 subscribers right now, so if you want to take part.
If you, later on, if you send me the link that is as it is right now, I can put that in the description and then get you more subscribers.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'll definitely send that over. Also, if you want to subscribe to our newsletter on our website, you can do that as well. It's like a monthly newsletter, so it's nothing too spammy. But we pretty much just put all the new events coming up and our playlists are coming up. But yeah, if you want to also follow our SoundCloud, we have a SoundCloud because I have grown up in music and I absolutely love music. That it's always been a passion of mine. And I've had the opportunity to work with other DJs and producers and music curators to produce a bi-weekly playlist. But I actually not bi-weekly, bi-monthly. I always get that mixed up. So every 2 weeks, not twice a week. But I recently decided to put a halt on that because it was taking up time that I didn't want to spend my energy for anymore. But we have 9 playlists on SoundCloud if you want to listen to some new music.
Awesome.
And yeah, that's pretty much how you can also support other than the going to events or workshops. And just saying hi, honestly, because I really want to meet more people. And Instagram has just been a platform where I've had the honor to meet so many really, really cool people. I mean, like I said, some of the volunteers, I've never met them before, and they were just following me on Instagram. And so really grateful for Instagram to just be that platform to connect people. And that's my goal, to be that next platform to connect people who are more mindful about loving themselves and loving others, loving the environment.
I love it.
Yay! I've learned that I, like with the Facebook group, I wasn't really active on it because it was, like, Facebook is not a platform that I personally use that often, even though I have tons of friends that still use it actively. And I just realized keep focusing on Instagram because that's what I really, really believe in and what I really resonate with. So Instagram's the best place to support. Yeah.
I've had to learn how to navigate Instagram because I never used it until I made one for
Millennials.
Yeah.
I've had Instagram for like 6 years now, and when I first started, I would be the type of person who would never comment. I'd be scared to like, and I would always be scared of like what other people would think when I comment. And that was when I was going through that, the troubles with myself and not being that loving person to myself. But now that I've learned and grown from that, I like comment all the time and like love everything, and I'm just really more intentful about who I follow and who I interact with, because that in itself is a connection. And
right,
like just like how like you have your day of friends and wanting to be in that presence with everyone, it's the same with on the internet. Oh, that's another workshop I want to talk about, is like building authentic connections in a disconnected digital world.
Ooh.
That's like a title that's already solid, but
that sounds really
yeah.
awesome.
But yeah, I definitely really, really want to talk about that, because social media is something I had a love-hate relationship with, and now with all the experience I've gone through, I'm like, there's no reason to hate it. Just be more intentful and
right,
and love it and embrace it.
and
Even
like,
though there are, some negative things going on out there, but hey, that's like something you can't control.
right, and like being mindful of like how much time you're giving to it,
Mm-hmm.
and what you're doing while you're on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What you're absorbing.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I've been trying to deal with this year, because like I love memes.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
love the and I just like I love going on the different like platforms and like seeing the things that other people are creating, like
Mm-hmm.
their art and their comics and their photography and the things that that they're seeing and they're doing and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So I get kind of caught up because I'm just like, I just love all of this.
Yeah.
And I have to like remind myself, like, put the phone down.
Yeah. Yeah, I never really got into memes, but I have friends that are like super into memes.
They're fantastic, and I love the way that they've evolved, especially like in the recent years. Like I've been enjoying the Jeffrey Epstein memes.
Oh, see, I don't even know any of these.
Okay, so do you know who Jeffrey Epstein is?
No.
You don't know who Jeffrey Epstein is?
I don't really go.
Okay, Jeffrey Epstein was this like super rich pedophile that was basically running a pedophile ring, and he was arrested. He was in federal prison.
Oh my
and
gosh.
he was about to probably spill the beans on a lot of people, because there was records showing that there was current and past presidents, people in like the royal family, actors, like people all over the world who were about to be implicated in this massive pedophile ring.
Mm-hmm.
And in federal prison, he ended up dead.
Oh no.
And they ruled it a suicide. But even the person who was reviewing the autopsy report was just like, this is not consistent with a suicide. This is consistent with like a strangling, like a homicide. And so the last couple months, there's been these really amazing memes of Jeffrey Epstein didn't commit suicide. It'll be like a fact, sheet, like, did you know Jeffrey Epstein didn't commit suicide, or like some really crazy art piece.
I've seen the memes that are like, blah, 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 didn't kill himself or something like that.
Yes.
I don't know. I was like, I've seen those memes.
You expect something else, and then all of a sudden it's Epstein didn't kill himself, and you're just
God.
like, you got me. And it's hilarious, and it's amazing, because it's the subject matter itself is not hilarious, of course, but it's also the fact that, because you remember the whole Area 51 thing and all the memes and how people actually went out and did it, through the Jeffrey Epstein memes, finally getting like more people on the case. And it's like if the people,
like people
of the
more
internet,
aware of it,
exactly. And if the people on the internet hadn't been like using memes as a way to keep
like get it
that
out there.
they're keeping it, you know, alive basically. Like this year has been so crazy as far as time goes. Like I want to say that he died in July or August, but I could be wrong. It could have been like October or September, which really wasn't that long ago. But because of the way that like our news cycle has been, you hear one thing one week and then the next week everyone forgets about it. Like I keep having to remind people like, hey guys, did you know the Amazon is still on fire? And they're just like, what? Why is nobody talking about this? Because our news cycle doesn't want to talk about it.
It's old.
You know, exactly.
Yeah.
So, and that's part of why like I've been kind of reluctant to completely step away from social media because of how fast everything is flowing and moving in the news cycle. If you know, like my friend, you know, took a month off from social media, so I'll be like, hey, did you hear about this? And he's just like, nope. So
yeah,
like,
that was my partner. He wasn't on social media for a month.
Because I don't watch like cable news. I don't
watch
follow news
either.
things. I usually get my news from like independent pages that I follow. So that's where I get like my information from. So it's like I feel like if I stepped away too long, and too long is such a short period of time now, like you come back and there's so many things that have happened in the world that you missed. You know, and I try to be knowledgeable and on top of what's going on in the world so I know how to relate it to what I'm doing and how to address different things, you know, or have a conversation to talk about with people and everything.
Yeah, so you can make your change.
Exactly.
Small change, but every small change leads to something bigger.
Exactly, so. But it's this exchange of sorts that, you know, I'm, you know, still using these platforms. So it's like I have to be on top of myself to pull back from them and not be on them too much.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, it's not that like you have to be on it, but just being more mindful of how you spend your time, which it seems like you are mindful. It's okay if I like make a comment off of like when you were talking about how that you're losing time. So what I've learned is that when I do have my like spikes of depression, because I get random spikes of depression throughout this year, is that to really just take the time to rest and really embrace it. And because if you keep telling yourself that, oh, you're losing time and like I need to do this, and you're just fueling that fire more for that depression to get like deeper and deeper. And so if I may make a suggestion, just like for the next time to be aware of when you are going through that, is that to really take rest and take the time to breathe, because you aren't losing time. You're going through that for a reason, and it's because so you can be more gentle with yourself and show more love to yourself and embracing and letting those emotions flow through. Because if you're fighting it, then you're like trapping that emotion within yourself.
No, absolutely no. Yeah. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So.
Yay. Awesome. I feel like we covered a lot today.
No, we did. I mean, and like I said when I was talking about the setup of the podcast, like it's an interview, but I also want it to be a conversation.
Oh yeah.
You know, because that's how that's how my conversation style is to talk about all these different things and figure out how they're interrelated. Yeah. You know, like you can talk about, you know, just the environment or just this, and then you find out that, you know,
it's just all connected.
Exactly. Yeah. And I feel like the more that, you know, I hit on things, you know, it makes those conversations more essentially like normalized. Like I try to always, when I do an interview, find a way to incorporate a question about mental health, because, you know, through that I'm trying to destigmatize the concept of, you know, mental health and having depression and stuff like that, because I feel like the more people talk about it, the more able people are to talk about it.
To be vulnerable about it.
Exactly. So that's why, you know, I mean, it does kind of go off into a tangent, but it all goes
back on track.
I think we're still on the general topic of, you know, love for yourself, love for others, and, you know, love for the, you know, what's around you, the world around you.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's all connected. We're going back to the beginning. We're all one.
So. Do you work with other organizations to do certain things or to further your mission? And
well, I'm actually having a collaborative workshop with the Love Yourself Foundation in January. It was supposed to happen in November, but it had to get pushed to January, and so nothing's set in stone yet, but definitely stay tuned for that. I would love to work with Litter Free somehow, to just have a collaboration, cleanup month. Yeah, I love Monica and Jackie are the founders respectively, and so those two are the only two that I've really talked to recently, but I'm always open to, work with others who are on the same mission to like better the world and better ourselves, and so yeah, it's pretty much who I got on the deck so far.
No, I'd love to introduce you to some of the people and organizations that I've been working with, because like you were talking about earlier about like, making connections and networking and growing with other people. That's also what I've been trying to do, is meeting all these amazing people, and then like seeing like you guys could do some amazing work together.
Yeah, that's me. I'm like puzzle pieces. So I'm like, here, you guys go together.
Thank you for that
have
analogy.
fun.
That's perfect.
Here, go have fun.
I think you and, for instance, like the 5-Hour Revolution group could do some pretty cool stuff together.
Oh, I've heard of them, because the Sierra Club works with them, right?
Yeah, so 5-Hour Revolution is a subcommittee of the Sierra Club.
Okay,
and
yeah,
so
that's how I found out about them.
Yeah, their organization is focused on, the 3 R's, right? Their focus is the 5 R's. So refuse, reduce, reuse, recycle, and rot. Is that 5?
Recycle and rot.
Yeah, rot is compost. Yeah. So yeah, they do a lot of cool things. They're trying to get into doing workshops themselves next year to, get people aware of how they can do certain things with trying to adhere to the different 5 R's and everything.
Like, I love that.
They're trying to do a workshop soon where they're going to be showing people how to make their own almond milk.
Ooh, so I would love to learn that. Yay.
I'll get you into contact with them and.
Sweet. Yes, please. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I was in the same room with them, but I didn't really get to introduce myself. But 2020 for sure.
I'm really excited for 2020.
Me too.
I have a really good feeling about it. Even despite everything that's going on, and next year's an election year, but I don't know. I feel like it's gonna be.
It's
really
gonna be
good.
An amazing year.
Yeah,
it really is for me and a lot of my friends, and for the world. Just as long as we're all taking those steps. Yeah.
I want to say it's going to be pivotal.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah.
I mean, either way, it's going to be pivotal.
Yeah.
So it's just going to be. I think it's going to be up to us as to which way it pivots, what we put our energy into, and how much of that energy we put into it.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah,
it's going to be the beginning of a new decade.
Yeah, I can't wait. It's crazy.
Gonna be the roaring 20s.
The roaring 20s.
Oh no, you don't look at memes, but it's just like, you remember the scene days?
Oh yeah.
Roaring.
Oh, I was a scene kid, so.
Same. Remind me later. I'll show you a picture of me. Literally 10 years ago, I had
gosh.
rainbow hair.
Yeah, there's that meme going around, or not necessarily a meme, but like that.
It's like
2009 to 2019.
The 10-year challenge.
Yeah, 10-year challenge. Not meme. See, I don't know these things. I don't really go.
No, back to how I love the way memes are being used. I've seen a lot of those 10-year challenge memes where it's like, a picture of, the Great Barrier Reef, and now it's, coral bleached, like a glacier 10 years ago and a glacier now.
Yeah, it's super small. Probably,
and it's like, these are the 10-year challenges we should really be concerned about. Like, look at the state of things over the last decade, and I think that's doing a really good job of raising awareness.
Definitely.
And definitely over the last year, like a year ago, people were not concerned heavily about the plastic crisis. It has made an incredible,
shift.
Yes.
Yeah.
With that, with climate change, with just awareness for the things going on in the world, awareness for other people and everything. And I do think that social media has helped with that, because we're able to hear these stories from all over the world. We're able to see these people from all over the world.
You can connect worldwide. It's literally on like a screen.
Exactly. All right, so I guess my last question would be, what have you learned or gained in your experience with the club so far?
I already feel like I said like 5 lessons.
True.
But the biggest is that we're pretty much all in this together. And going back to learning that I can't do this by myself, I mean, it's not just me who wants to focus on inner work and expanding in love and connecting other souls. There's so many people out there who want to, and it's, like I said, baby steps. And pretty much I was a person who would always have bigger pictures in my mind, and then I've learned to really just come back to the present and be like, no, this is what I gotta do. These are the steps that I gotta do to get to that bigger picture. And yeah, being present and staying grounded and practicing gratitude are the 3 core values that I'm really, really implementing right now. So,
well,
yeah.
You're doing a fantastic job at it.
Thank
you for what you do. I love it so much.
Thank you for having me and for reaching out to me. And I'm glad we got to meet at a Litter Free event. And yeah, just staying connected and doing what we're doing and we love. Yeah.
And I look forward to collaborating with you in the
same.
future, and especially going into this new year.
2020.
It's going to be a great year.
2020.
All right, and thank you guys so much for listening. We will see you on the next episode of Conversations with the Community. Bye.
Bye.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for listening to our Conversations with the Community podcast with Rosemary of the Lots of Love Club. We hope that you've learned a lot about how you can love yourself, love others, and love the environment, as the club's mission encourages people to do. And we hope you're inspired to take steps to increasing the amount of love you have in your own life and getting involved in the world around you to help share that love. Please check out the Lots of Love Club on their website and various platforms to learn more and see how you can get involved with them. Links are in the description below. Please like this podcast and subscribe to our channel to get notifications for new content. And if you like our content and what we do, please check out our website, mimmag.com, and our various other platforms to learn more and get in motion with us. And if you want to support what we do and help us grow, please check out our Patreon community to see the benefits that we offer to our patrons. Thank you so much again for listening. Until next time, I'm Kat from Millennials in Motion magazine. This has been Conversations with the Community, and please remember to be kind and be the change you wish to see.